You can't outrun your destiny by hiding behind excuses. I know life gets heavy. I know the world doesn't always make space for your dreams. Some of you are carrying heartbreak, disappointment, fear, and still trying to show up for a future you're not even sure you deserve, but hear me. You were not created to shrink. You were created to rise. And no excuse, no wound, no past, no doubt gets to decide what you become. Excuses are interesting things. They don't come into our lives loudly. They don't come with warning signs or alarms. They slip in quietly, like soft whispers that pretend to protect us. And for a long time, I believed those whispers. I believed the voice that said, "You're not ready yet." I believed the voice that said, "You need more time." I believed the voice that said, "Maybe this isn't for you." And because I believed those voices, I stayed small. I didn't move. I stayed where it felt safe, where failure couldn't reach me, where disappointment couldn't find me. But what I didn't realize then is that excuses don't protect you. They imprison you. Every excuse is a story we create to avoid discomfort. We tell ourselves it's because we're being practical or responsible or wise. But if we look closely, most excuses are rooted in fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being judged. Fear of losing something: respect, love, time, comfort. And fear is powerful when you feed it. It grows, it expands, it begins to live inside your decisions, your choices, your dreams. And before you know it, you've built a whole life around avoiding what scares you instead of chasing what calls you. There was a time when I thought my excuses were my shield. I thought they were keeping me safe from the world. But the truth was, they were keeping me safe from growth, and the things that grow are the things that are willing to be uncomfortable. A seed pushes through dirt. A bird breaks its own shell. A human heart learns through pain. Nothing that becomes beautiful stays comfortable, and yet we cling to excuses like they're life rafts, not realizing they're really anchors. I remember sitting in front of a mirror once, asking myself why I wasn't moving, why I wasn't trying, why I wasn't stepping into the life I knew I wanted. And it hit me, no one else was stopping me. No circumstance was tying me down. No enemy was standing in my way. It was me. It was my hesitation, my doubt, my story about why now wasn't the right time. And the moment I realized that, something shifted. It felt like the world suddenly became bigger. Because if I was the one stopping myself, I could also be the one to free myself. Excuses feel safe because they allow you to stay the same. They don't demand growth. They don't ask you to risk anything. They don't require courage. But the life you dream of, the life you secretly pray for, that life demands bravery. It demands stepping into uncertainty. It demands standing in places where you don't feel fully prepared, and that's uncomfortable. But that is where destiny begins. When you stop explaining why you can't, you give yourself permission to explore how you can. You open the door of possibilities. You begin to see solutions instead of obstacles, opportunities instead of limitations, potential instead of fear. You begin to understand that the world isn't asking you to be perfect. It's not asking you to have everything figured out. It's simply asking you to show up, to try, to take the next step, even if your knees shake while you take it. And here's the truth. You will never feel fully ready. Not for your purpose, not for the dreams that matter, not for the moments that will transform you. Readiness is something you grow into, not something you start with. So waiting for confidence before moving is like waiting for a plant to grow before watering it. Movement creates courage. Effort creates clarity. Action creates identity. When you choose faith over excuses, your world shifts. Because excuses are rooted in what you fear, but faith is rooted in who you're becoming. Faith whispers back at fear and says, "Move anyway." Faith reminds you that you are not alone. Faith reminds you that you have been carried through storms before. Faith tells you that where you are today is not the final version of who you can be. So let this be your awakening. Let this be the moment you step out from behind the stories you've told yourself. Let this be the moment you peel back the layers of fear, hesitation, doubt, and step into the raw, vulnerable truth of your potential. You don't need excuses. The world doesn't need them. What the world needs is your courage, your effort, your growth, your rise. There's a moment in every person's life when struggle begins to feel personal, when challenges stop looking like random events and start feeling like they were designed specifically to break you. And in those moments, it's easy to believe that life is unfair, that you are being punished, that somehow you have been given a heavier load than everyone else. But with time and with faith, you begin to understand something powerful. Your struggle is not your jail. It is your training ground. The world teaches us to fear hardship, to run from anything that feels too heavy, too painful, too uncertain. We're taught that ease equals success, that peace equals progress, that comfort equals winning. But that's not how growth works. Nothing strong is built in comfort. Nothing enduring is shaped in ease. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Muscles grow through resistance. Trees root deepest in storms. Strength, real, unshakable strength, is a product of struggle, not the absence of it. There was a time I thought struggle meant I was failing. When something didn't work out, when a dream didn't unfold easily, when life pushed harder than I expected, I would wonder, what am I doing wrong? But eventually I realized I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was being shaped, I was being stretched, I was being prepared for something bigger than I could see. Life was not punishing me, it was preparing me. Think of every delay, every disappointment, every unexpected turn as training. Training for resilience, training for humility, training for courage, training for patience, training for a version of you that is stronger, deeper, wiser, more grounded than you've ever been before. When you shift your perspective in this way, the weight you're carrying doesn't become lighter, but you become stronger. Sometimes the paths we think are detours are actually the exact roads meant to prepare us. Pain has a way of breaking us open, revealing parts of ourselves we didn't know we had. Reserves of strength, reservoirs of faith, layers of determination that only reveal themselves under pressure. You don't discover your true capacity when everything is going right. You discover it when everything is falling apart. And the most powerful truth is this: struggle doesn't define you. It refines you. It sharpens you. It chisels away the parts of you that aren't aligned with your purpose. It forces you to face things you would otherwise avoid. Your fears, your insecurities, your doubts, your hidden wounds. Struggle is uncomfortable because growth is uncomfortable. But discomfort is not a sign to run. It is a sign to lean in. You may feel like life is testing you. And in a way, it is. But the test is not meant to break you, it's meant to reveal you, to show you who you are when the world isn't watching, to show you what you're capable of when nothing is easy, to show you that there is a fire inside you that no hardship can extinguish. Think of a warrior. A warrior is not trained in softness. A warrior is shaped in sweat, grit, bruises, failures, discipline, and resilience. And life, whether you realize it or not, is shaping you into a warrior of your own destiny. Every challenge that comes your way is sharpening your instincts, strengthening your spirit, and deepening your resolve. And listen carefully. Struggle does not mean you're on the wrong path. Sometimes it's the clearest sign you're exactly where you need to be. Because anything worth having requires effort. Anything meaningful demands endurance. Anything destined calls for preparation. Your struggle is that preparation. It is not the end of your story. It is the shaping of it. When you stand in the center of your battle, not running, not hiding, but standing, you awaken a strength within yourself that becomes unshakable. The kind of strength that says, I may bend, but I will not break. The kind of strength that says, I may fall, but I will rise again. The kind of strength that whispers, this moment is hard, but it is not my ending. So don't rue from what challenges you. Don't label your struggle as a curse. Don't think of your pain as punishment. You are being trained for the life you've been called to live. You are being sculpted into someone capable of carrying the blessings you've prayed for. You are not trapped, you are being transformed. Part B is stand tall in the storm. Let the winds shape you. Let the pressure strengthen you. Let the struggle become your teacher. Because one day you'll look back and realize the very thing that felt like it was meant to break you was actually the thing that built you. There comes a point in life when you realize motivation is not enough. It's beautiful, yes, it feels good. It lifts you for a moment, it pushes you for a day. But motivation is like a spark, bright, exciting, powerful, and temporary. It fades the moment life gets heavy. It disappears the moment doubt enters. It vanishes when you're tired, overwhelmed, or afraid. And if your dreams depend on that spark alone, they will flicker out long before they ever become real. What carries you, what truly shapes your destiny, is discipline. Discipline is not loud. It's not glamorous. It doesn't come with applause. It shows up quietly at 5 a.m. when you don't want to get out of bed. It shows up after a long day when you'd rather rest and keep going. It shows up when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one else cares whether you continue or give up. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you moving, step by small step, until the mountain in front of you becomes climbable. There were countless days in my own journey when I didn't feel inspired, days when I didn't feel chosen, days when I didn't feel talented enough, strong enough, or certain enough. And I used to think something was wrong with me. I thought successful people must wake up every day feeling excited and confident. I thought greatness came from passion alone. But the truth is, the people you admire aren't fueled by constant motivation. They are fueled by discipline. They do what needs to be done even when every part of them wants to run in the opposite direction. Discipline is the decision to honor your goals more than your moods. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It is showing up again and again, even when the results are invisible, even when progress feels microscopic. You don't become great by waiting to feel ready. You become great by showing up when you're not ready at all. Think about the moments when you've wanted to quit, moments when the dream felt too far, too heavy, too exhausting. Now think about the version of you who still moved forward despite that. That version of you, that is discipline, that is the warrior inside. That is the part of your soul that refuses to settle, refuses to fold, refuses to let fear define your path. And the beautiful thing is this: discipline grows just like a muscle. It strengthens with use. The more you choose to follow through, the more natural it becomes. The more you keep your promises to yourself, the more your confidence expands. Discipline is self-respect in action. It's looking at your reflection and saying, I will not abandon you this time. It's the foundation that keeps your life steady when motivation wavers and emotions fluctuate. There will always be reasons not to begin. There will always be reasons to rest longer, to wait for the perfect moment, to tell yourself you'll try again tomorrow. But tomorrow is built on what you do today. And 5 years from now, you won't remember how tired you were. You'll remember that you kept going. You'll remember the price you paid for your growth and the pride you felt when you finally held the life you once only imagined. Discipline also requires faith. Faith that the effort you're putting in is not wasted. Faith that consistency is building something beneath the surface, even when you can't see it yet. Faith that your grind is not in vain. You may not feel the transformation happening day by day, but trust me, it's happening. Every step you take strengthens your future. Every sacrifice shapes your character. Every disciplined choice rewrites the story of who you are becoming. Some people wait for inspiration, others wait for signs. But the ones who rise, the ones who truly create extraordinary lives, don't wait. They build, brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. They understand that discipline is not a burden, it is freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from self-doubt, freedom from the limitations you once believed about yourself. So let this truth sink into your heart. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel strong. You don't need the perfect moment or the perfect mindset. You just need discipline. You just need to show up. You just need to keep moving, even if the steps feel small, even if the progress feels slow. Because discipline will take you where motivation cannot. It will lead you to places your excuses will never let you reach. And one day, you will look back with gratitude, not for the easy days, but for the days you pushed through anyway. Those are the days that shape you. Those are the days that define you. Those are the days that build a life you can be proud of. There is a moment in your journey when you realize that the world has an endless supply of opinions about who you should be. People will tell you you're too ambitious, too quiet, too loud, too emotional, too strong, too different, too much, or somehow not enough. And if you're not careful, you begin to shrink yourself to fit into their expectations. You begin to walk a little smaller, speak a little softer, dream a little less boldly. But the truth is simple and powerful. Your purpose is louder than people's opinions. You were not created to fit into anyone else's vision of who you should become. You were created with a destiny that is yours alone. But the noise around you, the comments, the judgments, the misunderstandings can make you forget that. And the thing about opinions is this: they are reflections of someone else's limitations, not yours. Most people can only see the world through the lens of their own fears, their own failures, their own doubts. When they tell you something is impossible, what they really mean is they don't believe they could do it. When they tell you to stay small, what they really mean is they never learned how to grow. When they tell you to be realistic, what they really mean is they stopped dreaming a long time ago. There was a point in my life when I let these voices get inside my head, when I felt the weight of people's judgments pressing down on me, when every step I took felt like someone else's expectation was pulling at my ankles. And I realized something: if I let other people define me, I would lose the very essence of who I am. I would spend my entire life trying to meet standards that were never meant for me. I would die with my purpose still inside me, untouched and unheard. But purpose doesn't whisper. It calls, sometimes softly, sometimes fiercely, but it always calls. It pulls at you in the quiet moments, in the stillness of night, in the space between your doubts. It shows up as restlessness, as yearning, as a feeling that something bigger is meant for you. And that feeling is not random. That is your guidance. That is your divine assignment. That is the voice you are meant to follow, not the opinions of people who don't walk your path. And here's the truth: no one else has to understand your purpose. It wasn't given to them, it was given to you. You don't need validation to walk your own journey. You don't need applause to begin. You don't need people to believe in you before you believe in yourself. Your purpose is between you and God, you and your soul, you and the destiny that has been waiting for you since the moment you entered this world. PR people will talk, they always do. Even when you do everything right, even when you succeed, even when you rise, they will talk. That's human nature. But you have a choice. You can drown in their noise, or you can listen to the quiet truth within yourself. The truth that says, I am meant for more. I am stronger than they think. I am guided. I am chosen. I am capable. When you stop letting opinions control you, something extraordinary happens. You become free. Free to grow. Free to take risks. Free to evolve. Free to step into spaces you once thought were too big for you. You stop moving like someone who is afraid of being seen, and you start moving like someone who was born to shine. Your purpose will never compete with their opinions. Purpose doesn't argue. It doesn't shout back. It simply waits for you to silence either noise and listen. It waits for you to trust it. It waits for you to walk in alignment with it. And once you do, once you choose your purpose over their voices, your life begins to shift. Doors open, opportunities appear, you meet people who understand your vision, you step into moments that were designed for you, you begin to live a life that feels like truth, not performance. Remember this: the world's opinions are temporary, your purpose is eternal. Opinions change with trends, moods, and insecurities, but your purpose, your calling, that is written into the fabric of your existence, and no human judgment can erase what God has already written. So walk boldly, walk confidently, Walk with the understanding that you are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out. You are here to rise above the noise. You are here to honor the calling placed in your heart. Let the world talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them doubt. Because while they're speaking, you'll be growing. While they're criticizing, you'll be becoming. And while they're watching, you'll be walking straight into your purpose. There comes a point in your journey when you realize that life is not made of big dramatic moments. Life is built from countless small, quiet moments. Moments we rush through, moments we overlook, moments we take for granted. And gratitude is what brings those moments into focus. It reveals blessings that were always there but had been hidden beneath stress, ambition, worry, and excuses. Gratitude doesn't change your circumstances, it changes your vision. It allows you to see what you already have, what you've survived, what you've learned, and who has stood by you even when life felt like it was falling apart. For so long, many of us live in a constant chase. The next achievement, the next goal, the next milestone. We keep our eyes locked on the horizon, convinced that happiness lives somewhere out there, somewhere we haven't reached yet. And in that chase, we forget to look around. We forget to appreciate the ground beneath our feet, the breath in our lungs, the people who love us, the opportunities that once felt impossible. We forget that the life we're living right now is something we once prayed for. When you stop making excuses for why your life isn't perfect, you begin to notice the extraordinary beauty in the imperfect. You begin to see the lessons in the setbacks, the openings in the detours, the strength in the struggles. Gratitude turns hardship into wisdom. It turns delay into divine timing. It turns pain into perspective. And suddenly, the things you used to complain about become the things you're grateful for because they shaped you into someone deeper, stronger, and more grounded. There were seasons in my own life when I felt overwhelmed, when I was so focused on what wasn't working that I couldn't see what was. I looked at challenges as proof that I wasn't moving fast enough. I looked at delays as signs that maybe I wasn't meant for what I wanted. But gratitude shifted that. It forced me to slow down, to breathe, to look at the blessings that were quietly holding me up. Blessings like support I didn't acknowledge, opportunities I didn't celebrate, strength I didn't know I had. Gratitude made me realize that even in my most uncertain seasons, I was being carried. And here's the beautiful thing about gratitude, it multiplies what you appreciate. When you're grateful, you stop chasing validation. You stop comparing your journey to someone else's. You stop feeling like you are behind. Because gratitude roots you in the present. It reminds you that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you are meant to become. Gratitude shifts your energy from scarcity to abundance, from frustration to peace, from pressure to presence. People often think gratitude is passive, like it's something soft or sentimental. But gratitude is strength. Gratitude is clarity. Gratitude is discipline of the heart. It takes strength to look at a storm and say, "Thank you for teaching me." It takes courage to look at your past and say, "Thank you for shaping me." It takes humility to look at the people in your life and say, "Thank you for loving me, even when I wasn't easy to love." Gratitude turns you into a warrior who fights not with anger or resentment, but with understanding, compassion, and grace. And gratitude doesn't just change how you see your life, it changes how you show up in it. A grateful person walks differently, they speak differently, they treat people differently, they carry a calm confidence because they're not constantly trying to prove something. They don't move through the world as if something is missing. They move as if something is guiding them, supporting them, expanding them. And people feel that. People are drawn to that. Because gratitude radiates a quiet power that excuses can never match. When you live from gratitude, you start noticing blessings in places you never expected, in the friend who checks on you without being asked, in the opportunities that show up at the exact right time, in the failures that led you to something better. In the mornings you woke up when you thought you wouldn't, in the strength you found after thinking you had nothing left, in the dream that took longer but arrived wiser, deeper, and more aligned. Gratitude opens your heart to the truth that life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Even the painful parts, especially the painful parts, because those are the moments that refine you, redirect you, and reveal you. So pause, breathe, look around. You are surrounded by blessings, some loud, some quiet, some visible, some disguised as challenges. Let gratitude soften you where life hardened you. Let it open your eyes where excuses have blinded you. Let it remind you that you are not empty, not forgotten, not behind. You are blessed, you are guided, you are growing, and gratitude will always reveal what you were too busy to see. There is a kind of strength that doesn't come from victory, confidence, or certainty. It comes from giving, even when you feel like you have nothing left to offer. It comes from choosing to show up for others in small, quiet ways, even when your own heart feels heavy. The world teaches us to wait until we are whole before we give. Wait until we are healed. Wait until we are successful. Wait until everything makes sense. But life doesn't work that way. Service is not something you do after you have enough. Service is something that creates enough. It expands your heart. It deepens your purpose. It lifts you in the very moment you think you're the one who needs lifting. There were times in my life when I felt empty, emotionally drained, spiritually tired, unsure of my own direction. And in those moments, I believed I needed to retreat from the world until I fixed myself. But strangely, the moments that healed me the most were the moments I chose to serve someone else. A conversation, a gesture, a tiny act of kindness. Something so small it seemed insignificant, but somehow it breathed life back into me. It reminded me that even in my brokenness, I still had something to give. And that reminder changed everything. You see, we often think of service as sacrifice, as giving away pieces of ourselves until we have nothing left. But true service doesn't drain you. It expands you. It stretches your heart in ways that make it stronger. It opens your eyes to beauty that exists beyond your pain. It reminds you that you are connected to something bigger than your struggles, bigger than your excuses, bigger than your fears. When you help someone, even in the smallest way, you step into a version of yourself that is generous, compassionate, and purposeful. And purpose is powerful. Purpose brings clarity to confusion. Purpose brings direction to chaos. Purpose brings strength to weakness. Sometimes the very thing you need is locked inside a moment of service you haven't given yet. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need to save the world. Start with one person. Start with one moment. Start with one act of grace that reminds another human being that they are seen, valued, loved. Because when you do that, something shifts inside you. The heaviness lifts just a little. The confusion clears just enough for you to take one more step. The loneliness fades just enough for hope to breathe again. Serving others also protects your heart from becoming hardened by your own pain. When people go through difficult seasons, their instinct is often to close off, to isolate, to protect themselves from more hurt. But service softens you. It keeps your heart open. It keeps empathy alive. It keeps compassion flowing. And when your heart stays open, you stay available to healing, to miracles, to opportunities, to joy. There is also a quiet spiritual truth woven into service. When you give, you receive. Not always in the way you expect, not always in material form, but in strength, in peace, in clarity, in the simple grounding realization that your life has meaning beyond your achievements, meaning beyond your struggles, meaning in the way you touch others. But you don't need to be perfect to serve. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to be in your best season. In fact, sometimes your most broken version carries the most powerful ability to comfort someone else. Pain recognizes pain, wisdom recognizes struggle, and hearts that have cracked open often shine the brightest light. But here's the important part. Serving others doesn't mean abandoning yourself. It doesn't mean carrying everyone's burdens while ignoring your own. It means showing up from a place of sincerity, humility, and presence. Even a small offering, a smile, a word of encouragement, a listening ear can be transformative. You don't need to give everything, you just need to give something real, something honest. And that's the beauty of service. It doesn't ask you to be perfect, it just asks you to be willing to show up, willing to care, willing to let your humanity touch someone else's. So the next time life feels heavy, the next time you feel lost or empty, try giving. Not because you owe the world anything, but because giving might unlock the strength you forgot you had. It might remind you of your own resilience. It might guide you back to yourself. But serve where you stand, serve with what you have, serve with a heart that knows what it feels like to hurt and what it feels like to rise. And in doing so, you will discover that service is not about losing yourself. It's about discovering a deeper, more powerful version of who you truly are. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in the human experience. It shows up quietly, slipping into your decisions, your dreams, your relationships, your confidence. It arrives disguised as logic, disguised as caution, disguised as protection. It whispers things like, wait, not now, what if you fail? What will people think? And for a long time, many of us believe those whispers. We treat fear like truth. We treat it like a warning. We treat it like a sign that we should step back, shrink, or stop altogether. But the truth is this: courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to move anyway. You can be afraid and still take the next step. You can doubt yourself and still show up. You can feel unprepared and still walk into the room. The idea that courage means feeling fearless is one of the greatest lies we've been taught. Courage is not a feeling. It's a choice. A choice you make in the middle of discomfort, in the middle of uncertainty, in the middle of trembling hands and racing hearts. Courage is choosing movement when stillness feels safer. Courage is choosing growth when comfort feels tempting. Courage is choosing truth when your excuses feel louder. There have been moments in my own life when fear felt like a wall I couldn't climb. Moments when the world felt too big and I felt too small. Moments when my insecurity screamed louder than my potential, and I believed for a while that fear meant stop. That fear meant I wasn't ready. That fear meant the dream wasn't for me. But then life taught me something essential. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a doorway. A doorway to the next version of yourself. A doorway to strength you haven't met yet. A doorway to a life that requires more of you. Your courage, your faith, your resilience. Every person you admire, every success story you've heard, every giant who has walked this earth, they all felt fear. The difference is that they moved anyway. They learned that bravery is not loud, it's not dramatic, it doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is quiet. Sometimes it sounds like a whisper that says, try again tomorrow. Sometimes it looks like taking one shaky step forward when everyone expects you to turn back. Sometimes it feels like standing still long enough to breathe through the panic and remind yourself, I can do this. Bar fear will always exist in places where your potential is expanding. It shows up when you're stepping into unfamiliar territory. It shows up when you're breaking old patterns. It shows up when you're chasing dreams that require you to become someone stronger, clearer, braver. Fear is a sign that you're moving towards something meaningful. It's proof that you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. It's evidence that you're alive and evolving. But here is the powerful part. Fear cannot stop you unless you let it. It has no real authority. It only has the power you feed it. The moment you choose to move, even with fear sitting on your shoulder, something incredible happens. Fear begins to shrink. Your confidence grows. Your belief strengthens. Your world expands, because every action you take in the presence of fear teaches your mind and your spirit that you are bigger than the thing that scares you. Courage doesn't guarantee the outcome. It doesn't promise perfection. It doesn't eliminate risk. But courage guarantees growth. After every courageous act, you become someone new. Someone more capable, more resilient, more aligned with your true self. Courage chisels away the doubt. It burns away the excuses. It brings you face to face with the strength you didn't know lived within you. And the truth is, courage becomes a habit. The more you choose it, the more instinctive it becomes. At first, courage feels like jumping into cold water. It shocks your system. It takes your breath away. But eventually, it becomes a part of who you are. You begin to move differently. You begin to speak differently. You begin to believe differently. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I fly?" You stop listening to fear's warnings and start listening to your purpose. You stop shrinking and start rising. And let me tell you something important. Courage does not always come wrapped in confidence. Sometimes courage arrives wrapped in tears, wrapped in doubt, wrapped in trembling, wrapped in silence. But it is courage all the same. And every time you choose it, you rewrite your story. You take back your power. You step closer to the life you were created to live. Br. So don't wait for the day you stop being afraid. That day may never come. But you don't need it. What you need is a decision, a moment, a breath where you say, "I will move even now." Because your destiny is not waiting for your fear to disappear. Your destiny is waiting for your courage to ignite. Fear may whisper, but your purpose roars. Fear may tremble, but your spirit rises. Fear may follow you, but it cannot control you. Not when you choose courage again and again and again. Move anyway, rise anyway, become anyway. That is the power of courage. At the end of the day, everything we chase, success, validation, certainty, perfection, fades in comparison to one simple truth. You were created with purpose. You were placed on this earth with gifts that no one else carries. And those gifts are not accidents. They are assignments. They are reminders that you are here to rise, to serve, to grow, to love, to become. Life will challenge you. Fear will whisper. Doubt will press against your chest. Excuses will try to protect you in all the wrong ways. But there is something stronger inside you, something unshakable, something eternal, something divinely lit. And when you choose to trust that light, when you choose to walk with faith instead of fear, your entire life begins to shift. So step into the world with courage. Step into your purpose with humility. Step into your future with the confidence of someone who knows they are guided, supported, and never walking alone. The same force that breathed life into you is the same force that will strengthen you, carry you, and lift you every time you stumble. Don't just dream, act at BR. Don't just wish, build. Don't just pray, move your feet in the direction of the life you're asking for. Because faith is not just belief. Faith is movement. Faith is obedience. Faith is choosing to rise even when the horizon is unclear. Remember this forever, Burr. You don't need permission to become who you are made to be. But walk in your calling, trust the timing, honor the journey.br, and let the world witness what faith looks like when it becomes unstoppable.